Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a summary day in my life where I'm going to take you through the day with me as we are productive and do a couple of fun activities, including some book shopping. So today I have 3 things in mind that I'd really like to get done. 1, I would like to check out a local used bookstore that I've been wanting to check out for a while that's kind of on the other side of town, so it's a little bit of a trek to get there, but if it's a really good used bookstore, it might be worth the journey. I also want to take you along with me as I do a very summary activity and finally make my homemade popsicles, because that was one of my goals for this month, was to do that at least once. So I have a lot of fun supplies and we're gonna have so much fun making some summery fruit popsicles together. And then I also want to do some gardening outside because I bought some new flowers to plant, and that was also one of my goals, was to just like decorate my front porch and do some more gardening. So that is the 3 things I would like to get done today. I would also love to get some reading in. So I will give you an update on what I'm currently reading. The audiobook I'm currently listening to is The Boys in the Boat by Daniel James Brown. This is a nonfiction history book about a rowing team that competed in the 1933 Olympics, I think, something around there. So this is one that I'm about 10% of the way into, and I plan on listening to it as I'm going through and doing these activities today. So hopefully we'll get a good chunk listened to. I can't tell yet if I'm going to absolutely love it because I'm just not far enough into it. So we'll listen to that. And then I also am currently physically reading 2 books. The Pariah by Anthony Ryan, which is a very slow, denser writing style. So it's taking me a while to read, and it's for my book club. So I feel bad because a lot of people are also having trouble with it. It has a really high Goodreads rating, which I'm kind of surprised by because no one in our book club yet who has read it and finished it has loved it. So I'm kind of surprised by how high the Goodreads rating is. But yeah, this is one that I'm like halfway through and it's taking me a while to read. And then I'm also physically reading The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, which is a much quicker read, but that is my nighttime book where I keep falling asleep after reading like 2 pages. So I want to try and like read that during the day more so that I can actually make some good progress in it, because that one I could actually finish pretty quickly if I actually read it at a time where I'm not falling asleep. So those are all 3 of the books that I'm currently reading. So I'm going to keep you updated throughout the day as we do these fun activities together and as we read more books. So let's begin. Great, getting a little bit of a later start than planned, but that's okay because I had to do some patron updates because I was able to announce the book club selections for the remainder of the year, almost. We're still waiting on December because there's a tiebreaker going on right now. So that was really exciting. I was really excited to do it. And then if you didn't know, as part of my Patreon right now, Elliot Brooks and I are doing a video series where we are live streaming, talking about these certain hot topics in BookTube, if you will, so that the patrons can also participate in those live streams and add to the discussion. And our first one is tonight, so I had to do some work to make sure that that was ready to go. So I'm very excited about both of those patron updates. So it was fun work that I had to do before we started the book shopping extravaganza. So now I've got baby and we are ready to go book shopping. that was so fun. Did you all see how cute that place was? Oh my gosh, and I did end up getting a couple things, so once I get home, I will do a little haul for you all. And now I finished up there so quick that I want to check out one more bookstore that is on this side of town that I haven't seen before. I don't know that it's a used bookstore. I think there might be more new books, but I still want to check it out. I'm in that kind of mood, so I'm very excited. Let's see how the second bookstore compares to this first one. This first one was precious. I loved it. Very bummed because the second place I went wasn't open. It was closed because their system was down, so they couldn't process any sales. And it looked really nice inside, really cozy, had a lot of like brand new releases, brand new books. It had the Fourth Wing, which if you're trying to buy the Fourth Wing online right now, you like can't get it. It's unreal. So could have gotten the Fourth Wing today. It's probably for the best that it was closed so that I didn't buy more books. But I do have a haul to show you because I did buy some books at that first bookstore that I went to. Okay, so here is my little mini book haul. So we'll start with the two books I got for my daughter, who is 2 and is obsessed right now with Toy Story. Toy Story is her favorite thing ever. It's the only movie, the only one that she will sit and watch the whole way through, almost the whole way through. So I got her a little Jessie book, so cute, and a Woody book because Jessie and Woody are her favorites because they wear hats. She really likes hats. She's like Wayne from Miss Born Air too. She's a big fan of hats. And then for myself, I ended up getting Stormfront by Jim Butcher, and all 4 of these books that I'm about to show you are all mass market paperbacks. I know, who am I? I usually never get mass market paperbacks, but first of all, I wanted to support that bookstore because I thought it was absolutely adorable, and I just love used bookstores. I absolutely want to support them and buy something if I go in. And most of what they had was mass market paperback, which is fine. And then the second thing was all of these are like more classic, older fantasy releases with like the amazing old fantasy artwork on them. And just having those in mass market paperback, I don't think bothers me as much because it's like so classic looking and so fun. Anyways, back to the books. Stormfront by Jim Butcher. This is one that was on my priority series to start in the future list that I did earlier this year, and I was so excited to see this book there. I grabbed it immediately. It was only like $4, so I grabbed it. I was super excited. I heard that this first book is not the strongest in the series. It gets much, much better. So even if I don't love this first book, I'll probably still continue on with the series unless I like really hate this, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm very excited to finally be getting around to the Dresden Files and to finally have this in my collection. Yay. And it's in pretty good condition for just being at the used bookstore. Some of these others are not as good of condition, so I was impressed with the condition this one was in. The next one is Pawn of Prophecy by David Eddings, which is book 1 of the Belgariad. I don't know how you say that. I think that's how you say it. This is one that I had featured on my very first episode of underrated fantasy recommendations that you all recommend, and someone had said that this is just like the most classic epic feeling fantasy, and it's also good for younger readers as well, I believe. So I've had this one on my radar for so long, ever since I did that video a couple years ago. And when I saw this, I just couldn't resist. I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. So I'm gonna try it. The next one I have is Dragons of Autumn Twilight by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. Look at that cover. Is that not just spectacular? It's so fun. This is Dragonlance Chronicles Volume 1. And this is another one that when people talk about classic fantasy, I've very often heard Dragonlance Chronicles get brought up. So when I saw this, was like, there it is. I have to try it. And I just love these old covers. They're so fun. And then the last one was another one that I was super excited to see, The Outstretched Shadow by Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory, which is the first book in the Obsidian trilogy, which is another one I've heard amazing things about. It was in one of those underrated fantasy recommendation videos that I did. And again, like the classic looking fantasy cover just cracks me up. I love it. I love it so much. So these are a little more well-loved, which we love to see. This one looks like it's been read several times. So hopefully that means that people like it. I'm very excited to check out all 4 of these. I think that this was a very unexpected, but a very welcome haul. And it's all ones that, you know, I've had on my radar for years now. So I'm just excited to add them to my collection, and I think they're really fun. So I'm gonna add them to my like little mass market paperback shelf up there. And yeah, I'll eventually get around to all of these. Maybe I'll do a fun like reading vlog project doing like classic fantasy and feature these 3 books in a reading vlog. Let me know if you'd be interested in that, because I'm really excited to read those. So yay for a book haul. So now let's get on with the rest of the activities for the day. I'm making lunch right now, but I'm also going to start making those popsicles. Yay. So after I did the gardening yesterday and watering all the plants, I had to go pick up my daughter from school, and then we had a busy afternoon after that. Did a dinner with the family and went and looked at patio furniture, so I ended up not getting any other time to really film or anything, and then I had to join the live show for my patrons with Al, which was really fun. So I really didn't get much reading time in either. And I am starting to feel a little slumpy, and I think it's because the books that I'm reading right now feel like they are definitely obligations where I'm putting pressure on myself to finish each of these books that I'm starting because they're either for the readathon that I'm hosting for my patrons, or they're part of the book club, like The Pariah. So like all three of the books I'm reading right now are for my Patreon. And especially for like the readathon, I don't know why I'm putting pressure on myself to finish the books that I start for those. Like The Boys in the Boat, I listened to 10% more of that yesterday, and I'm just a little bit bored by it. It's not, it's not my typical read. And the prompt I'm reading it for is for a book outside of your comfort zone. So it's definitely appropriate for that. But it's just a little bit boring, which I feel really bad saying that. It's just written in such a dry way for me, and maybe it's the audio that's not working. Maybe I need to physically read it, but I almost feel like physically reading it might be worse. So this is one that I'm like really not enjoying. And then The Ocean at the End of the Lane is very much like a magical realism feel, which I don't typically love. So that one I'm not really enjoying. And then The Pariah, it's like very slow and denser, and it's just not really doing much for me. So it's like all three of these books I'm not enjoying, which is such a bummer. Which is like when I do have a little bit of free time here and there, I find myself avoiding picking up books because I'm not enjoying what I'm reading, which there's a very easy solution. Pick up something I enjoy reading. At least I have to finish The Pariah because it's for the book club. And I feel so bad because I've had so many misses for our book club so far. I don't know why. I feel so bad. I gotta get better about making sure like the book selections I'm offering, I'm gonna enjoy. I don't know how I do that because I always think I'm gonna enjoy these. Like I really thought that this was gonna be like awesome for me, especially with like the Goodreads reviews that it had. I thought it was gonna be amazing. So I don't know how to get better about finding books that I'm gonna like for the book club, because each one that gets selected I think I'm gonna really enjoy. I'm gonna put The Ocean at the End of the Lane down. I'm gonna put The Boys in the Boat down, and maybe DNF those for now, because I wanna pick up something that I'm gonna like really want to read. And those two books are books I'm not wanting to read right now. So I don't think that those are permanent DNFs, but they're going back on my physical TBR. So if you didn't know, in my Goodreads, I have a did not finish shelf and I have a physical TBR shelf. And when things are permanently DNF'd in my mind, I put them on my did not finish shelf. And if I'm just not feeling it, I put it back in the physical TBR shelf. So I'm gonna put these back on my physical TBR and just accept that it's not the right time to pick them up. And I'll tell you what I end up picking up instead. So I'll keep you updated. But yeah, I was feeling a little slumpy, and you know what? We're gonna turn it around and we're gonna pick up books that we actually are excited to be reading at the moment. That is my update for you this morning, and I'll keep you updated on my reading for the rest of the day. And if it improves, I'm gonna try to get a good chunk of The Pariah done, at least like 50 pages today. I'll keep you updated. Hello everyone, it is a new day, and this will be the last clip of the vlog. I'm gonna cut it off here because I don't have too much of an update. I wasn't able to get a whole lot of reading in yesterday. I didn't start any new audiobooks yet because I was feeling a little burnt out, like I'd mentioned, and I decided to catch up on some booktube instead. And that is like recharging me, getting me ready to begin my audiobooks again. If I ever kind of feel unmotivated, for me, a great place to turn is booktube, because hearing people get passionate about books and talking about book recommendations like gets me excited to read again. So whenever I'm feeling kind of slumpy, that always helps me get like my energy back for reading, is seeing people just gush about books. I love it. So I'm feeling like recharged from catching up on some booktube from yesterday. And then I was able to read about 50 pages of The Pariah. So I only have about, I think, 250 pages left of the book, which if that was just one book I was reading that was 250 pages, that's very easy to get through. So that also kind of like is putting it into perspective that I don't have too much left to go of this book. I can definitely get through it. So I'm gonna really focus in today, and while my daughter's at school, I'm going to read The Pariah and get that done so that I can start Nolan, because that for me is so exciting, the prospect of starting that 5-star prediction. So that's my plan for today, and that's my update. I hope this was a semi-interesting vlog, a fun, turned into a couple days in my life instead of just one day in my life. But I was able to do some summary activities, was able to get a little bit of reading in, and was able to kind of come out of a reading slump by watching some booktube, which is my go-to. How do you get out of a reading slump? I'm very curious. If you're ever feeling kind of slumpy and not wanting to read, what do you do? Leave those comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!